speaker, a guy you might be familiar with, Glenn Beck, host of his program here on the Fox News channel. We understand this is going to be about 45 minutes, but he is the last of the speakers, the keynote address here at the CPAC convention in Washington, D.C., and boy, it has certainly been a three-day enthusiastic conference of about 10,000 plus delegates there. Let's listen in.
I have to tell you, I hate Woodrow Wilson with everything in me. God bless you. It is such an honor to be here. It really is. Last year, I was actually in my car listening to Rush Limbaugh give the keynote. Rush is a hero of mine, and I'm listening to him, and my producer, I write him a text on my email, and he gave it to me just this week. I wrote him last year, wow, what must that be like to give the keynote at CPAC. Here I am today, and I cannot believe it. It's been a tough year for you, hasn't it? I mean, if you're down to me, it's a tough year. It's not just that Rush has done this, but also one of my other heroes, Ronald Reagan. How many times? 12? Because of Ronald Reagan, my grandfather, my father, I have a hope for America. I remember when Ronald Reagan talked about mourning in America. I have always believed that. I have always wanted to believe that tomorrow is going to be better than it is today. If you ask people now all across the country, if you say, do you think your children are going to be better off than they are today, the answer will be a resounding no, and it's not just from Republicans or conservatives, it's from the entire, whatever. It's the entire spectrum is saying that. I'm sorry, I don't use teleprompters, I just speak from here, and sometimes people are losing a fundamental belief that it's going to be better tomorrow. Let me tell you now, it is still morning in America. It just happens to be kind of a head-pounding, hungover, vomiting for 4 hours kind of morning in America. And it's shaping up to be kind of a nasty day, but it's still morning in America. Now the question is, what made us, sit there at the John vomiting for 4 hours? What is it that has taken us onto this path? What are we suffering from? What is it that has caused the problem? And if you say Obama, it's too simple of an answer because it's not Barack Obama. May I just for a second, could I just ask, bring a friend up? It's sick. It's sick when a chalkboard gets a standing ovation. Thank you. You have no idea what it's like to travel with one of these things, really. A Palm Pilot is the way to go. Try to get this in an overhead luggage compartment. It's impossible. This is the disease. This is the disease in America. It's not just spending. It's not just taxes. It's not just corruption. It is progressivism. And it is in both parties. It is in the Republicans and the Democrats. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm so sick of hearing people say, oh, well, the Republicans are going to solve it all. Really? It's just progressive light. That's like somebody sticking a screwdriver in your eye and saying, stop, stop, and somebody else pulls it out and then puts a pin in your eye. I don't want stuff in my eyes. Stop stabbing in my eyes. Progressivism is the cancer in America, and it is eating our Constitution, and it was designed to eat the Constitution, to progress past the Constitution. Somebody just sent this to me this week. It's Progress and Democracy for Rhode Island. You can't read the date here, but it's 1938. And I just want to read a bit of this to you. I looked under democracy. Democracy has always played an important role in the history of Rhode Island. Time and again, the people of the state have repudiated attempts to nullify or curtail it. Well, in 1938, we are again faced with the proposition, shall democratic government continue? Quote, we communists are ready to join with all liberty-loving people in defending democracy. Democracy is the rule of the majority, and it can only operate as well as our Constitution permits it to operate. But our Constitution is now over 100 years old and fast outliving its usefulness. You go to the next section, and it talks about who are their allies, and it talks about the progressive movement being the allies. Representing democracy, progress, and peace, President Roosevelt, the New Deal Democrats, and independent progressive Republicans. In the back, defeat Vanderbilt and the entire Republican machine. Elect progressive candidates for every office. For jobs, security, democracy, and peace, vote communist. The idea between the two, the argument in Woodrow Wilson's day, the argument was, well, you're a Marxist. You're a communist. No, I'm not. I'm a progressive. Well, what's the difference? Here's the difference. If I spell something wrong, you guys are going to kill me. Revolution or evolution. That's the difference. Revolution or evolution. Well, they're no difference except one requires a gun and the other does it slowly, piece by piece, eating away at it, to the point to where now our people in Congress, they don't even care. Have they even read it? I know they're used to not reading things that are 2,000 pages. Could they read this? It's only 4. Van Jones is a communist, a self-described communist. Well, nobody paid attention to him. He was a pariah until he said, well, I'm really a progressive. I'm for progress. I just want to evolve into a nicer place. Well, we don't want to evolve into these kinds of places, and that is the choice. And the Republicans right now are giving us many of those same choices. Not all of them, but some of them. We have a guy in the Republican Party who says his favorite president is Theodore Roosevelt. Well, I thought so too until I read Theodore Roosevelt. By the way, Theodore Roosevelt, the guy who started the Bull Moose Party, which was the Progressive Party. Theodore Roosevelt, quote, we judge no man of fortune in civil life if it's honorably obtained and well spent. Oh, well, thank you. It's not even enough. It's not even enough that it should have been gained without doing damage to the community. We should permit it only to be gained so long as the gaining represents benefit to the community. Is this what the Republican Party stands for? Well, you should ask members of the Republican Party, because this is not our founders' idea of America. And this is the cancer that's eating at America. It is big government. It's a socialist utopia. And we need to address it as if it is a cancer. It must be cut out of the system because they cannot coexist. And you don't cure cancer by, well, I'm just going to give you a little bit of cancer. You must eradicate it. It cannot coexist. And we need big thinkers and brave people with spines who can make the case, that can actually say to Americans, look, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be okay. We're going to make it. Dick Cheney was here a couple of days ago, and I love Dick Cheney, but Dick Cheney a couple of days ago was here, and he says it's going to be a good year for conservative ideas. That's true. That's very true. But it's... Thank you. I'm like Elvis. Yeah, man, so... It's going to be a very good year. But it's not enough just to not suck as much as the other side. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I screwed up my life 6 ways to Sunday, and I believe in redemption. But the first step to getting redemption is you got to admit you got a problem. I have not heard people in the Republican Party yet admit that they have a problem. And when they do say they have a problem, I don't know if I believe them. I haven't seen the come to Jesus moment of the Republican Party yet. I've voted Republicans almost every time I've gone. I don't know what they even stand for anymore. And they've got to recognize that they have a problem. Hello, my name is the Republican Party, and I got a problem. I'm addicted to spending and big government. I'd like one of them just to stand up and say that. I'd like that V8 moment where they're like, oh, crap, I get it now. I'm addicted to spending and I just don't want to spend today. Good, keep coming back. They need that moment. I don't know if you saw Tiger Woods the other day, but some people don't believe Tiger Woods, that he was repentant. Some people are saying, well, he's only sorry because he got caught. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, if drinking wasn't causing me a problem in my life, I'd be drunk right now. I mean, geez. If you're making it with a whole bunch of unbelievable babes and nobody has a problem with it... Yeah. Yeah. Now let me ask this of the Republican Party. You got caught. Are you sorry? And better yet, you know, when people said to me yesterday, well, Tiger Woods, is Tiger Woods, is he really gonna, you know, is he gonna change? I don't know. It may not be his bottom. And if not, we'll all see another small blonde woman with a golf club chasing him. But that's his life. We'll know through his, well, we won't know, but his wife will know through his actions. So when the Republican Party says, wow, I got a problem, please don't say you're just like me. Oh, and I'm just like you. No, you're not. Because I would never go to Washington. You will. You're not just like me, and you're not just like the rest of us. You are somebody who has said, okay, I'll represent you. Did you check your soul at the door? Make sure you hang on to your soul. Now, if you are just like me, if you are just like the average everyday person, you won't lose your soul along the way. Tiger Woods said this: "I knew my actions were wrong." Wouldn't it be great to hear this from a politician? "I knew my actions were wrong, but I convinced myself that normal rules don't apply." Kind of like economic rules. They think they can spend, and normal rules don't apply. Well, it's not exactly like your house. Yes, it is. In the end, yes, it is. I never thought about who I was hurting. Instead, I only thought about myself. I ran straight through the boundaries that someone should live by. I thought I could get away with whatever I wanted to. I felt that I worked hard my entire life and I deserved to enjoy all the temptations around me. I felt I was entitled. And thanks to the money and the fame, I didn't have to go far to find them. I was wrong. I was foolish. I don't play by different rules. The same boundaries that apply to everyone apply to me. I brought this shame upon myself. If I heard a party that said those words and I felt they meant it, I would campaign for them. I would put a lawn sign in my yard. I would be happy to vote for them. But as of yet, I haven't heard anyone say that. All they're talking about is, we need a big tent. We need a big tent. Can we get a bigger tent? How can we get a big tent? What is this, a circus? America is not a clown show. America is not a circus. America is an idea. America is an idea that sets people free. I'm tired. I am tired, and I know you are. I'm tired of common sense not applying anymore. We all know what the problems are. It's tax and spend. One party will tax and spend. The other party won't tax but will spend. It's both of them. Both of them together. I'm tired. Oh, this is good. This isn't going to work out well. I'm tired of feeling like a freak in America, and I know so many people are too. We don't mind. You have a different opinion than me, that's okay. You don't agree with me, that's okay. We're never going to agree. There are 300 million of us. We're never going to agree. How boring would life be if we all thought exactly the same thing? We wouldn't really be able to create anything. It takes the exchange of ideas. But I am tired of 40% of this country, 40% say they're conservative. Now, how many more are out there that don't want to say they're conservative because you just want to kill and eat children? 40%. 36% say they're moderates. What is it, 20%? 20% say they're liberals. How are they making 76% feel like they're the minority? The majority does not rule in America, but the minority shouldn't hijack it. And it's because we're afraid. They have isolated us and made us feel as though we're alone. We're not. Now, how is it that this can be? And the Republicans and conservatives keep losing. Well, one, the 21%, they know how to put on a good show. Man, they know how to do it. They know how to, I mean, it's Hollywood. They know how to package something. They know how to explain it. They're very, very good. But then you're like, yeah, I want to get me some of that. And then you get it and you're like, I don't want any of that. That's what's happening in America right now. Oh my gosh, help! They know how to package it. Well, forget about the packaging, and let's look what's actually in the package. What does it mean to be a conservative? I don't even know anymore. I know what it means to me. It means to me personal responsibility. That if I've done something wrong, it's up to me to pay the price. It's up to me to make it right. Personal responsibility. Don't talk to me about your childhood. You want to hear me go on about my childhood? No, I don't want to hear about your childhood. I don't care what happened in your childhood. What's happening today? What are you doing today? We have a right to fail. We have a right to fail. No. This is a God-given right. We have a right to fail. Without failure, there is no growth. 15 years ago, I was completely broke. I was completely out of control. I had no answers in my life, none. I was living in a little one-room apartment. I'd lost my family, everything. My whole life was spiraling out of control. I was on the fetal position of my apartment. Am I going to die? Or I'm going to figure it out and live? Because no one was there, if somebody would have been there to hold me up, I wouldn't have been down here enough to be able to dust myself off and say, no, I'm not going to spend my life here. I'm going to stand up on my own 2 feet, figure it out, and because of that failure, I can stand here today. Without failure, there is no sweetness in success. There's no understanding of it. And we're saying that these people are too big to fail. When did we become the country that says the big guy needs to be? If you're a bank and you didn't know you shouldn't give a loan to somebody who can't even present a check or a piece of identification, you should fail. Conservatives believe that we are guaranteed the right to pursue happiness. We're not guaranteed happiness. Who can guarantee you happiness? Tiger Woods wasn't happy. No one is guaranteed happiness. You can pursue it. But if you happen to find success along the way on that road to happiness, conservatives believe you shouldn't be demonized or penalized for it. We believe in the right of the individual. We believe in the right of the individual. We believe in the right. You can speak out. You can disagree with me. You can make your own path. But I'm not going to pay for your mistakes. And I don't expect you to pay for my mistakes. We're all going to make them. But we all have the right to move down that road. What we don't have a right to is health care, housing, or handouts. We don't have those rights. Every time the government grows, we lose more of who we are. When you give up your right to struggle, when you say, here, you're giving more of your freedom away. Every time it grows, they have to raise the price. They raise the price of the American dream through taxes or through massive debt. We are destroying our children's future. Look, anybody who thought that George Bush was spending and it made any kind of sense was a madman. There comes a point where you must stop and realize we cannot do this. We're pricing ourselves out of the American dream. I grew up in a bakery in a small town called Mount Vernon, Washington. It's a small little town, and you're from there? What are the odds? We should get together. Do I know you? Small little town, Mount Vernon, Washington. We had the city bakery. My father ran it. I cleaned the pots and the pans and worked in the back with him. At 7 years old, we should get him on labor laws, but at 7 years old, my two sisters worked the front of the shop with my mother. That's how I grew up. I learned every lesson of hard work. I learned how to treat people. I learned how to be fair. I learned art from my father. His job wasn't a job. He was an artist. It was great. My father, eventually, business, because of the 1970s and the small town was dying. We went out of business. He moved. But you know what? I learned from that. I learned from the mistakes. I learned from the failure. I'm the first person to go to college in my family. I went for 1 semester. I took 1 class. Do you know why? I couldn't afford it. Now, I never once even thought, this isn't fair.